So welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion. Welcome everybody back. So I've been getting this question for probably the last 2-3 years on my YouTube, and I never got into it. Should you get a rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive Infiniti? Guys, hit that intro. Welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Thank you. Now, some of you guys like the short answer to things, and people are always going to sit there and say, Boost, we really trust your opinion, we trust your experience. Which one do you think is the best to get? And all-wheel drive. Yes, guys, I think all-wheel drive is the best one to get. All right, let's talk about the pros first, right? In all honesty, what made me always want to get an all-wheel drive car is when I had my Maxima front-wheel drive, wrong-wheel drive, reason why I moved into all-wheel drive is I like stoplight races. I like to be able to take off from a stoplight and be able to not spin. Now, when you have front-wheel drive, it's always going to spin. When you rear-wheel drive, you got to really know how to control and launch your car. But it's always these all-wheel drive cars, they always take off from a stoplight with no fuss. I mean, I know it does take away from the experience of the driving, but I really do love that there's literally no fuss. You got to be able to get a car for its purpose. So I live in Brooklyn, New York. We don't have, space to open the car up and have fun with and stuff like that. We mostly have short city blocks. So the most amount of fun we're going to have is stoplight races and taking off. And that's what I got the purpose of an all-wheel drive for. To take off at stoplights, feel that instant torque. But outside of that, some of you guys may be looking to get a VR30, pretty much the twin turbo V6. And the reason why I got this car is I have an old video. I don't know if you guys want to watch it, but definitely check it out. It's on the channel. I reviewed, I think, a 2017, 2018 GTR. I had the car for almost about a week for my 30th birthday in Miami. And I got to really review the car. And what I realized is there's so much control in an all-wheel drive system, even with 500 to 600 to 700 horsepower. This is for some of you guys who are tuned with larger turbos, E85 and stuff. And this is the control you actually need. Whenever I watch any type of videos with any rear-wheel drive cars, I've always noticed, depending on how much torque they put down at low RPM, they're spinning tires at 40, 50, 60 miles an hour doing pulls. And as cool as that looks and sounds, that is a very inefficient way to put down power, regardless. Yes, we love 2JZ, but if you can't put the power down at 50, 60 miles an hour when we want to go, then it's still inferior. Or the car is just way too, the amount of torque is just too powerful for the suspension and the setup. So yes, there are ways to mitigate it, but who wants to do that? I like to be able to get in the car and take off, period. Take off. Now let's talk about some of the negatives to all-wheel drive. Honestly, my honest opinion is the negatives to all-wheel drive is you really can't go with a crazy change in different tire sizes. What they do is they'll put like a 245/40, a 245/35 in the front, and a 245/40 in the rear. That's a big difference in change in the actual overall diameter of the tire, which usually on an all-wheel drive car you really can't do because it's just so much of a big difference in change in the rate of the circumference of the diameter of that tire. So it definitely throws off the ABS system. It's just a way to protect the all-wheel drive system because it's such a big change between the front and the rear. But I know I feel like I'm rambling right now, but outside of that, I think that's like one of the negatives. Two, you really can't have fun with the car. Some of you guys want to get into an all-wheel drive car and just send it. You see, I mean, right now in the car culture, it's still all about drifting. It's all about sideshows. You do burnouts in the middle section or parking lots. And people really like this more and more. And all-wheel drive cars do not give you that. How much videos have you seen with Audis drifting? Barely any. Even those are great cars, they can't get in the car and start drifting. You know what I'm saying? How many videos have you seen of any other real all-wheel drive car drifting in a parking lot or in an intersection? Not really much. I mean, unless they make a stupid amount of power so that all 4 wheels are really spinning, or somehow they can actually turn off the all-wheel drive and or the all-wheel drive system. Most of the time, we don't take part of that. We just watch while you guys have fun and learn wheel control. And I think that actually takes away another negative. It takes away from the driving experience on learning wheel control and actually how to control your car. Most road drive guys, as a positive now, move to the pros, and the positive is you guys actually learn wheel control. You actually learn how to mitigate the car from spinning. You can actually learn and feel in driving the car like this, like actually feeling it. When a car wants to pull, slide, you're losing traction in one wheel. You're more, even though you guys have aids such as ABS and traction control, you guys still learn the feel of the car when it's at its breaking point. All-wheel drive guys, we really have that stuff mitigated. We really don't feel it. So when we get on it, we don't really know we lost control until it's actually last minute, last second, which you guys, bear with me guys. Woo. See, but I can just take off like that in 45-degree weather outside and not have to worry about the rear wheels spinning or the car going like this. I don't have to worry about that. But it takes away from the experience of what we could actually have learned in driving and owning a rear-wheel drive car. So I think that's some of the pros and the actual wheel control that you actually learn with the rear-wheel drive car. Sliding, spinning, and pushing to the car to its actual limit. Another pro I would sit there and say about rear-wheel drive cars, honestly, is I'll say pros for a rear-wheel drive and cons for all-wheel drive. Rear-wheel drive cars are usually about 150 to 200 pounds lighter. So yes, everybody likes weight reduction and everything like that. So it's usually a little bit lighter. Bear with me, guys. It's usually a little bit lighter. Oh, let me speed up a little bit. Get this Uber guy out of my way. Yeah, rear-wheel drive cars are usually a lot lighter. 150 to 200 pounds lighter, and you know most of us weigh at least 150, 200, maybe a little 200. So that's a whole nother person that literally is in your car. So it could take away from the actual 0 to 60 times, a quarter mile times, and you know it might change the driving experience slightly because you're adding more weight to the front end. But it is what it is. I mean, it could probably make your understeering you could probably give you a bit more understeer for the front end because most of that weight goes to the front from the axles to the transfer case. But that's really up to you guys if you really want to take your car to a road course. So it probably could take away some of that feeling. But at the end of the day, it's still always up to the ABS and traction control system on how it mitigates some of this slip, you know, and the body roll. And plus, you could do modify the car by adding some sway bars, higher spring rates in your coilovers, and depending on what tires you use and everything like that, could actually mitigate a lot of this. Finally, to start wrapping it up, outside of that, I really don't know too much other positives of rear-wheel drive. Really, like, I mean, some guys gonna jump in and say, I've been asked, Boost, which car will be fast in a road race, a rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive? Technically, because the rear-wheel drive is about 150, 200 pounds lighter, technically, yes, it should be a lighter car. I mean, it should be the faster car in a road race if everything else is the same. But I always sit there and say that stuff could be mitigated. All depends on the tuner. It all depends on the tire size that you go with, because the overall diameter sometimes, depending on the tire size you go to, you have a slightly higher top speed. There's always ways of changing it up. Also, even with red sports versus everything else, usually the final drive is actually different between red sports and regular 3.0Ts and luxes and premiums. So usually red sports usually have a slightly shorter final drive ratio, which technically means that they should be a bit faster in a quarter mile and in road races. But outside of that, I've definitely dragged this video a lot longer than I really should, so don't get mad at me. Just hit the like button, comment below, tell me what you think from your experience on if you own rear-wheel drive to all-wheel drive cars under Infinitis, or just your own personal experience of just owning cars. You know, we all have different experiences, and some people actually want to jump into maybe not only this community, but other cars they may choose to purchase that have an all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive option, this might be the video that can maybe give them, help them pick one of the ladders, if you know what I mean. But outside of that, guys, you have a good morning, good afternoon, good night. If you want to support the channel, the Teespring account is below. And always remember to watch the videos to the end. I appreciate you guys so much. You have a great day. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Do appreciate you guys. Love you guys very much. You can also check out the 2 links I posted for some of my other videos. Also, on top of that, if you want to purchase some Boost in Motion merch, definitely check the link that I posted also. And finally, if you've been watching all my videos and you enjoy them, please hit the link to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.